You were advised that the following programme was recorded 3 days before Liverpool Football Club managed to achieve something unthinkable against their bitter rivals, winning 7-0 against Manchester United plus a clean sheet to go on top of that. All this has made the owner of Seos Enterprises want to be in seventh heaven. Anyways, on with the show.
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks 4 opinionated panellists to put it back together again. Once again, we're joined by some of the best comedians currently on the stand-up circuit. On my right, we have Elaine Malcolmson and Chris Thorburn, and facing off against them are Raymond Mearns and Athena Cook-Blenu. In the news this week, Jacob Rees-Mogg had a COVID test for one of his children couriered to his home amid a shortage, according to leaked messages from Matt Hancock. The horse and carriage delivering the test is expected to arrive by St Swithin's Day. Police in Ecuador have found almost 8.8 tonnes of cocaine in a shipment of bananas bound for Belgium. They say it's either the work of a large syndicate of highly organised criminals or one very cheeky monkey. And Marks and Spencer have apologised after displaying daffodils alongside spring onions in one of its stores. The retailer was forced to take action after a doctor pointed out that eating daffodils could cause not just food poisoning, but M&S food poisoning. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one! This is the Broken News Round, where our teams have to guess 2 major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Elaine and Chris, can you tell me what this is all about?
Rishi Sunak has predicted his deal with
Kate Forbes
will allow
Cumbernauld
to become the world's most exciting economic zone, but has warned
Ash Regan and Hamza Yousaf.
not to make a drama out of the process.
Nicola Sturgeon
Is still examining the details of the agreement.
There's 2 very big things in there that happened this week. Let's get to the first of them, and I'll come to you, Elaine.
Rishi Sunak's done a deal.
It's the right answer. Well done, Elaine. Yes, it is the news that Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, have announced a new deal aiming at fixing post-Brexit problems in Northern Ireland. The deal, known as the Windsor Framework, is aimed at significantly reducing the number of checks on goods arriving in Northern Ireland from Great Britain. Elaine, let's talk us through this. Are you jumping for joy as someone from Northern Ireland?
Well, yeah, because it seems like it's a brilliant deal. Even more brilliant than the last brilliant deal. And nearly as brilliant as the brilliant deal we had before we even needed a brilliant deal. It's brilliant.
I think we're going to name it the Brilliant Friday Agreement now. That is superb. Dancing in the streets, marching bands, people playing drums. It really is just like July in Northern Ireland.
It's going to be a green lane that won't have checks and a red lane that will have checks. You've really got to feel sorry for colourblind smugglers.
Chris, what do you make about this new deal then?
So they've got a lane for goods that are going into Northern Ireland. There's a lane for goods that are going to the European Union. And there's a lane, Malcolmson, Northern Ireland's greatest import.
I need to pick a colour.
Athena, what do you make about this then? Obviously, this has been a deal in the working for quite a while.
Please, it's called the Windsor Framework. I come from 2 colonised countries. My dad is from Ghana, my mum is from Guyana, okay? Don't trust anything called the Windsor Framework, okay? I don't know what... Please.
Raymond Mearns, a momentous week it is being called. What do you make of the new deal?
Some statistics here. Did you know that exports from Northern Ireland increased 14.5%, went from 21.7 billion to 24.9 billion? So they're doing great, but when you drill down into the small print, and I have read the Windsor Framework, paragraph 20, Paragraph 20, point 2, said that the Windsor Framework bans on British products such as sausages entering Northern Ireland will be scrapped permanently. And also paragraph 32.3, it protects Northern Ireland's second-hand car market. Now, with the very best will in the world, right, Northern Ireland has increased overall, income by something like £9.2 billion, but they're going, we're doing all right. But you know what I really need? I really need a rolling sausage and a 10-year-old Volkswagen.
I don't know if you saw the conference, like Ursula von der Leyen kept calling Rishi Sunak Dear Rishi. They were like looking into each other's eyes, like the entire press were like, do you want us to leave, by the way? Like at any point it looked like they were going to break out into Islands in the Stream. You know?
That would be lovely, just singing it on a boat across the Irish Sea. Usually the phrase Dear Rishi is followed by, you've been fined £100. We're talking about deals. What's the best deal that you've ever struck?
That's a good question. So I went on a date and I met this guy who had way more money than me. So I got pregnant. From him. And now I've got a 6-burner hob. That's a great deal.
Everybody wins.
I once got a load of cheap PPE off a woman called Michelle.
So, Raymond, any thoughts as to what our second story might be?
The SNP leadership contenders all went to Cumbernauld to their hustings.
This week saw the first hustings event for members. Initially, the party had said that events would be media-free to allow a safe space for members to put questions to Humza Yousaf, Ash Regan and Kate Forbes. But after a joint bid by broadcasters, the party agreed to let a limited number of journalists in. The SNP executive had agreed that the leadership hustings can be recorded by one camera and 2 reporters, a bit like Scott Sport in the 1980s. So they have started, Raymond. This is it. We're into it. Have the hustings changed your opinion on any of the candidates?
Absolutely. I think that every candidate has already shown how competent they are by managing to find somewhere in Cumbernauld.
Athena, I don't know if you've managed to catch what's been going on in Scottish politics. We had the first of our hustings this week. Has that changed your mind about any of the candidates?
It hasn't changed my opinion. My opinion remains the same, and that is none of them are Lewis Capaldi. So none of them are qualified.
Well, we've got someone like that sitting there.
Andy Murray's another one. He'd be good, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And you.
I'll do it. If I get to go on a night out with Lewis Capaldi and Andy Murray, I'm there. Just add in Lorraine Kelly, and what a cabinet you've got. I'm up for it. Elaine, we had the hustings begin this week. Did you catch them, and did they change your opinion on any of the candidates?
They all seem to be very into this independence. The 2 biggest issues that I think came out of the hustings were the dualling of the N9 and the gender reform bill, which is obviously very complicated, but I think that they're going to make it easier to legally identify as someone who wants to go to Inverness.
Yeah, big step forward. Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit I'm not a fan really of Ash Regan, and watching it I was like, oh, me and this woman have nothing in common. But then, as a working comedian in the UK, seeing her step out in front of an audience and completely lie to their faces and say, it's great to be here in Cumbernauld. I'm like, you know what? Me and you aren't so different.
Do you think it was right, after the bit of chat around that the press were let into the hustings?
Well, I think it was right, but you kind of let them all in. I mean, there's only 300 seats. I mean, if you gigged there...
I have gigged there, yeah.
You gigged there?
Yeah.
Oh, you probably sold all your seats.
Do you think it was right that the press were let into the hustings?
I think it was right they were let in, but, who's watching it? It's not the Masked Singer, is it? If they was...
I think they should go a little further, put it on pay-per-view, like MMA or the boxing. Just 3 opponents enter, 1 leaves, Cumbernauld.
Yes, over the next few weeks, we're going to be hearing a lot about Kate Forbes, Ash Reagan, and Humza Yousaf. And then in a month's time, we're never going to hear from two of them ever again. So there we go. Well done, Raymond and Athena. You get 2 points for that. It was indeed the mashup of the new Brexit deal and the ongoing SNP party leadership race. And at the end of that round, well done. It's all square. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about this week, we've spoken to beatboxer and actor Big Taj and triple Olympic swimmer Hannah Miley MBE. So, Raymond and Athena, what story do you think Big Taj is on about here?
I 100% agree with it, and I'm talking from experience. I think there is a certain demographic of men who, are usually a wee bit more angrier because of a physical aspect and them not, meeting the requirements that they want to.
I think this is about a study that found men who want to be taller also tend to be psychopaths.
Why did you look right at me?
Because you're the host, man. So paranoid.
I am, yes. Right answer, Athena. Well done. I'll take that. Yes, it is the story that scientists at the University of Padua in Italy say those who wish to be taller are more likely to harbour psychopathic tendencies. A collection of personality traits known as the Dark Triad, including psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism, are more likely to occur in people who have a desire to be taller. Some have observed that this goes some way to explaining the common occupations of short people, such as jockey or prime minister. So, Athena, a really loaded question here. Would you like to be taller?
No. I'm an average height, but that means I can buy an economy seat on a plane, and it's basically premium economy because my legs aren't that long. So no, I wouldn't want to be taller. But I think men want to be taller now for the wrong reasons. 15 years ago, right, it was to get pornography from the top shelf of a newsagents.
I never had a problem. She's standing my tiptoes.
What about you, Raymond? Would you like to be taller?
I thought I was, by Scottish standards, tallish. I mean, I'm 5'8". Have I ever wanted to be taller? I don't know that I have, but it's funny when you say that. I mean, I'm just finished reading a book called The Iceman about Richard Kuklinski. He's a guy who was a serial killer and a mafia hitman, and he murdered 200 people. And he was 6'5". Imagine if he was 5 feet, how many he would have done in? I think that's terrifying. Imagine how many bodies Danny DeVito's buried. Because he's only 5 feet. And you know what? He looks, he's dead friendly. He lures you in before you know it. Bump.
Elaine, would you like to be taller?
No. It's just like, when does it end? Because if you get taller, then do you want to be taller again? Like, how tall do people want to be? Like, tall enough to reach the top shelf, or tall enough to be banned from the Queensferry crossing in gusty weather? Like, how?
I was looking into this and several facts about men who are shorter, and these are all true. Apparently, with short men, they have a lower risk of cancer, they've got a lower risk of getting blood clots, and they can actually maintain longer committed relationships. All right, you date a taller man, that's an emotional roller coaster. We're not even allowed on roller coasters. All right.
Athena, do you think short guys get a bad press?
Yeah, they do. A lot of women, for example, women who date men want to date a man who's taller than them, but that's not really fair. If we didn't have short men, we wouldn't have Tom Cruise movies. If there wasn't a short man syndrome, he wouldn't be driving his motorcycle off of cliffs, and we get to watch that. That's great. So let's give short guys the credit they deserve.
I was surprised Lionel Messi's 5'7". I thought he was dead. Genghis Khan was 5'1".
Oh, really?
Genghis Khan, he was a bit of a battler in his day.
Better than Messi?
Did you know Yuri Gagarin was 5'2".
Raymond's listed all the short people that have ever lived.
Stalin was 5'4". I've just Googled it.
Elaine, do you think short guys get a bad press?
Yeah, but I'd be pretty angry if I couldn't get on all the rides at M&D's.
Yes, new research into height is the right answer. Raymond and Athena, you get 2 points for that. To you now, Elaine and Chris, what do you think Hannah is talking about here?
I'm, for one, never really had the need to have these. I can imagine that during COVID, people had a lot of spare time on their hands. Online shopping was a big thing. I do think the pandemic has changed how we've dressed. And I do think comfy is more in.
Is it the fact that like post-lockdown, the sales of like expensive trainers seems to have gone down?
Yeah, well done, Chris. It is the news that sales of trainers have rapidly dropped in recent years. The industry experienced massive growth over the pandemic, with 2021 sales up £16.6 billion compared to the previous year. But that number dropped to £9.2 billion last year, according to a Business Fashion report. This is now a good time to buy trainers, as a drop in demand means they are cheaper and more available. So I'm using them in my bruschetta instead of tomatoes.
The trainer industry experienced like massive growth in sales.
Huge.
During the pandemic. I don't know. Were the MPs buying them to help them run away from their responsibilities?
Yeah, one pair will take you all the way to Barnard Castle, apparently. A lot of the trainers that are selling, stylish, expensive. Here's the question, would you tend to choose comfort over style?
I don't believe anybody truly prefers comfort over style unless they own a pair of Crocs. Exactly. You guys know, if you don't own Crocs, then you're working too hard on your feet.
I think they look horrible.
Oh, they're amazing. And you can put them on so quickly. So if you've got kids, you've got to get out of the house quickly. Yeah, and
I flung my wings out years ago. I don't need Crocs. I used to love Hush Puppies. Remember Hush Puppies? Do you remember they were great because they look like shoes, but you know they're no shoes. You know you're kind of wearing a pair of slippers with a suit on, but nobody's...
Once I turned 30, I made like the clear decision. I was like, right, no more Converse. They're barely a shoe. Like, when you're wearing a pair of Converse in Scotland, you're basically saying, God, I hope no weather happens today.
Most impractical shoe in the market. What about you, Elaine? Are you the type of person that tends to choose comfort over style?
I don't know. Someone in this article paid £300 for a pair of trainers. I wouldn't really call that comfort. I'd be highly stressed. If I walked around my bed in a pair of 300 quid trainers, I'd be found round the corner up on bricks.
We're obviously talking about this because pandemic purchases drove the trainer market really to all-time highs. What pandemic purchases do you still have kicking about?
I got quite optimistic when lockdown started, so I bought a flute. And I thought you just watch YouTube videos and you can learn how to play it. Do you know how hard it is to play a flute? You can't just blow over it. You've got to blow over the hole in like a particular way. So I can't play the flute, but I've got a flute if anyone wants a flute.
Elaine, do you want a flute?
I don't... Yeah. I'll probably help you out with that. I know a few lads.
We're about to do another Northern Ireland deal here. There we go, trainer sales taking a kicking is the right answer. 2 points goes to Elaine and Chris. You're tuned to Breaking the News on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. So I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. Elaine and Chris, you're up first this time. Who is this?
Now, we've been working very closely with small producers. We're working through the issues. One of the requests on the table from small producers is that grace period, and that is exactly what we're working on.
Is that Lorna Slater?
Is the right answer. Well done. It is co-leader of the Scottish Greens and Circular Economy Minister Lorna Slater. She's in the news this week as we saw the deadline for drinks producers to sign up to the controversial Scottish Bottle Return Scheme. Ms Slater, as the minister responsible for the scheme, said it would still go ahead on the 16th of August under current plans. So the bottle deposit scheme means that you will get 20p for returning it to a shop and 2 weeks for throwing it on the pitch at a Celtic Rangers match. So we heard from Lorna Slater. Elaine, why is this scheme such a big deal?
Made a bit of a mess of it, hasn't she? It's all this stuff about having to opt out from the UK Internal Market Act, and if she has asked or she hasn't asked. But that would make trade in Scotland different from the rest of the UK and like set up a trade border with England and well, read the room, Lorna. Do you know?
Chris, what do you think about this? Why is this scheme such a big deal?
I mean, it's a big deal to me because it reminds me of like when I was little, like when, you know, me and my friends, we would like collect all the glass bottles like throughout the street, we'd bring them to the shops and you'd get a 10 pence mix up for it. Flash forward to now I'm an adult and every time I take my glass to the recycling bin, I always feel self-conscious. I'm like, oh, is this too much? Are people judging me for how many bottles I've got? You know what would really help wash that shame down? A big bag of Haribo. All right? Like wine bottles go in, wine gums come out. It's a perfect system.
What do you think, Raymond? Do you think Lorna Slater should maybe wait? Some are saying wait till the rest of the UK does it. What do you think?
No, I think there's a great opportunity here. I could become the first millionaire bin raker. Phenomenal, man. I would be reliving my childhood, man. I'd be back in the midges, you know what I mean? I'd be back in the bins. I'm telling you, I'll be doing your street and you'll open your blue bin and you go, somebody's emptied that. I will be the Andrew Carnegie of trash. By the way, he was only 5'2".
Athena, we're talking about a bottle return scheme. What would you return if you could?
I bought a shell suit, you know, during pandemic. I thought, I know, I just...
Why?
It's the noisiest thing I've ever worn. You just everyone sees me come in, hears me come in. You can't rob a house in a cell shoot. I don't know why they're associated with robbers because it's very rustly and very highly flammable.
Yes.
I would take that back.
Did you fail your ninja course in it?
What would you return if you could, Elaine?
Probably that PPE I bought off Michelle.
Well done. Yes, 2 points go to Elaine and Chris. That was MSP Lorna Slater. Right, Raymond and Athena, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
He becomes a detective and a protector all at once, you know, and I think that's why he cares so much about his victims. He's like a sort of a real-life superhero in that sense, that he'll just go to the ends for justice.
Idris Elba.
That is Idris Elba, who is in the news as a film version of the popular BBC crime drama Luther hits the cinemas. On the press tour for Luther, The Fallen Son, Idris Elba commented on casting rumours, saying, you know, a lot of people are talking about another character with the initials JB. That's right, folks, he is playing Jim Bowen. Bullseye, the movie, coming soon. Raymond, are you happy to see Luther return?
Did he not fall in love? The woman was a serial killer.
Yes.
And he couldn't prove she was a serial killer. Nobody's running about with a serial killer. Well, unless you didn't know about it. Fair enough if you didn't know about it. You know, you trip our bodies in the lobby and you go, what's that? Oh, that was a windy cleaner. He was rude looking for his money. Do you want to buy a ladder? Right, but it's a bit far-fetched.
Athena, are you happy to see Luther return?
Yeah, I mean, if you know anything about the Metropolitan Police, like a police officer hanging out with a serial killer, it's kind of it tracks, basically.
It's nice hearing news about a troubled London police officer instead of a troubling London police officer.
I think one of the reasons like we love tortured detectives is like they're dysfunctional but they get results. Like, you know, it's one of the few jobs that you see just like, you're a loose cannon, but you know, you get the job done. You'd never get that in any other line of work. You know, no one's like, damn it, kid, you're a loose cannon, but you're the best assistant manager this branch of Sports Direct has ever seen. Yeah.
We've got a history of in Scotland, Taggart, Rebus. There's layers to our detectives.
Well, I was in the Rebus. I was in A Question of Blood. I was in Series 7. I played the scuzzy hotel owner. And I got a cheque. I got a residual cheque off STV a year last August for 19 pence. 19 pence because somebody had watched it in Venezuela or something.
I'm just getting over the fact that an empty can of like Iron Brew would get you more money.
Luther's coming back. But if you were going to pitch a brand new detective show, what would it be?
I really love like Nordic and Scandi noir. Who knew? So I would play a detective, right? Very dark, great network. Stretches the limits of the law. You know, goes a bit rogue. Uses all the tools available to the police, but to investigate minor misdemeanors. So just going about using DNA sequencing, biosensors, psychological profiling, kicking down doors to catch someone for not paying 5 pence for a carrier bag at a self-checkout.
Idris Elba is the right answer, and 2 points goes to Raymond and Athena. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
YMCA.
That was Donald Trump there listing his favourite vowels. Right, fingers and buzzers, here we go. 72% of us do what while watching TV? Athena.
Is it pretend we love our partners?
72% of us do what while watching TV? Elaine.
Work from home.
Brilliant answer, but it's something else we're looking for. 72% of us do what while watching TV? Chris.
Wonder how Claudia Winkleman can see through that fringe.
72% of us do what while watching TV? Raymond.
Get up and look to see what's in the fridge.
The answer is this. 72% of us scroll on our phones whilst watching TV.
YMCA.
Oh, there he is. That's the klaxon. Donald has trumped, meaning it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Raymond Mearns and Athena Kuglenny. And commiserations to Elaine Malcolmson and Chris Thorburn. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news just in. A swimmer visiting a beach in New South Wales, Australia, found a muscle-covered message in a bottle that turned out to have travelled more than 185 miles. The message read, if found, please return to Lorna Slater, reward 20 pence. The Flying Scotsman, the first steam train to reach over 100 miles an hour, turned 100 last week. And next week we'll see the 100th anniversary of the first Flying Scotsman rail replacement bus service. And Edinburgh's King's Theatre has been saved from closure. Authorities released funding when they realised that with its uncomfortable seating, ancient carpets and inaccessible toilets, the Edinburgh landmark was in real danger of becoming a Wetherspoons. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye!